Black people, we have to fight. Egungu, you see us. Ogu, we have to fight. Let's go fight. Black people, we have to fight. Dandara, you see us. Ogu, we have to fight. Let's go fight. Black people, we have to fight. Makandalo, you see us. Ogu, we have to fight. Let's go fight. Black people, we have to fight. Nana John, Hery Clark, you see us.
We have to fight. Let's go fight.
Black people, we have to fight. Yansatewa, you see us. We have to fight.
Let's go fight.
Black people, we have to fight. Marcus Garvey, you see us. We have to fight. Let's go fight. Black people, we have to fight. Nana Zumbi, you see us. We have to fight.
Let's go fight.
Black people, we have to fight. Nana Hannibal, you see us. Ogu, we have to fight. Let's go fight. Black people, we have to fight. Ancestors, you see us. We have to fight. Let's go fight.
We have to have the courage to construct our own reality. And that's what Garvey was talking about. Because he said he looked around, he didn't see what he thought should be there, and so what did he do? He didn't get depressed about it. He didn't get defeated about it. He said, I'm gonna build the government that we need to have. Ooh. Where do you get that kind of boldness from? So we gotta go all the way back to Garvey, who said he would come again. He said he would be here with us, no matter how long it took. And I'm telling you that the way he comes back is in our work. Not honoring him in words, pomp and all of that stuff, but honoring him through doing what he did. How many of us have the courage to do that? The man took on the world for us and in our name. And then we come to Sodai. And in this presentation of the paradigm, I'm going to make this like what it is we want to reach. So Sodai is translated clear word in Dogana language. And I use it to mean that here we gain understanding. This is sight with understanding. And it is seeing beyond what just we think we see with this physical thing. It's seeing beyond that. And so we gain vision, because that's what vision is. With vision, you've got to be able to use the imagination informed by the African spirit. And Brother Amos, who I work very closely with, was a good friend of mine. He taught me, and he would talk about imagination. Image a nation. Do you see? But that's got to be part of vision. To be a visionary, you got to see beyond this box here. You got to see beyond the ma'afa. You got to see what is it that our people rightfully should have, and that's what Garvey did. Garvey had a vision.
both our family, our community, and our national ancestors. I don't know if at this time can you please call out my ancestors?
Fela and Nicolas Paputi.
All of those ancestors who have committed themselves to African people, all of those ancestors who have committed themselves to family building, community building, and nation building, all of those ancestors who shed their own blood on behalf of the African people. All of those ancestors who committed their time, who committed their minds, their spirits, their bodies to continuing to open the way for African people to be free, to have power, to be able to safeguard our existence and continue development. If I call one of you, I call all of you. Nana no Pacho be boneni. Ayoko Fuku Bekrin. Nana no Pacho, there's nothing bad here. It is me, Okonfoko Bekrin. You say that was a card, you say thank you for what you have done for us. Nana no, you say that was in your mobile mind. You say thank you for what you will do for us. Nana no, Islam said, and then that part. We ask that today be a good day. Islam said today be a day where African people are able to come together on behalf of African people. Islam, we ask that today be a day where no alien thoughts, no alien intellect or emotion or spirit are able to come in our space. We ask that today be a day where we concentrate a space where we're able to work on behalf of African people only. We ask we're able to work on behalf of those who have came before us, those who are here now with us, and those who will come after us. I don't know. We ask that everything that happens today may go well. We ask that we will not meet anything negative on this road. We ask that if there's any challenges here today, we ask that if you are not able to remove those challenges for us, if you want us to face those challenges, we ask that you give us the strength, we ask that you give us the power, the humility, the clarity, the wisdom, and all of those things that are necessary for us to be victorious in the face of all of those challenges. And I know, Father, yes, some are hoarding, yes, some will seek, yes, some will tune, yes, some will answer, yes, some will be here, so we're between the economy, and we have the abundance. We ask you for all those things that we need to be victorious in the face of our destiny and our life as African people. And I don't know, Father, you say that was it, that's not know.
10-9 Mwari, be thankful unto the Mother, Father, creative life force of the universe. Kudzai Mudzimu Mukuru, we give praises unto our great ancestors, because our ancestors are worthy to be praised. Abibi Tumi, Abibi Fahodi, African power and African liberation for all African people. Ashe, Ashe. Share greetings and welcome, brothers and sisters, to another session of Kimbunga Media Live. Yes, indeed, we're there. And I know it's been a while, brothers and sisters, since I've come live with you all, but be assured that the good work is taking place. We have not deserted you, and we are planning and preparing a magnificent array of shows coming up for you, brothers and sisters, behind the scenes. So do stay tuned for all of those happenings. But still, we have to keep our finger on the pulse of the African community. And as you know, a couple weeks ago, we were able to share with you through our brother and sister over there in Sierra Leone, Chief Fode and Sister Kenya, about the Be Clean campaign that was taking place internationally. To shout out to all my brothers and sisters in Basani, the Black Star Action Network International. More to be said on that to come, brothers and sisters, on the work of Basani and all the organizations that we are connected to. However, it has been very necessary for us to go live, as it has been for over a month right about now, to inform our community, especially those of us on the shores of the UK and in the English-speaking African world, about what is going on with our brother Kemi Seba. As you know, brothers and sisters, our brother Kemi Seba is well known to many of us on these shows. We've had the honor and the pleasure of hosting him a few times to pack audiences in the UK, and our brother is well loved and respected over here. But as it stands, most of the information that is out there about what is currently taking place with our brother and his son, brother Khonsou, is in French. And so we wanted to make sure that our English-speaking African brothers and sisters were able to be up to date and knowledgeable about what is taking place with our brother and how we can involve ourselves in the campaign for his freedom. And so on our show today, we have a very, very important brother that is going to break it down for us. But before I bring him on, let me encourage you to hit the like button. Hit that like button as you come through. Yes, indeed. Hit that like button as you come through. Raise the profile of this revolutionary Pan-African energy all over the social media. Share the link. Share the link far and wide and make the people them know that Shakara is live right here now on Kimbunga Media. And we're going to be speaking to a very powerful dedicated, hardworking brother in our international, global African community. Before I bring him on, however, it is necessary for us to cross the colonial language barrier. Yes, indeed, brothers and sisters, we've inherited a lot of these colonial languages from the colonizer, and sometimes they, manifest as a barrier between our communication. But we're going to overcome that barrier today. And so to provide our English and French translation, our Anglais and Francais translation, let me introduce my good brother from the Muntu family. Also, brothers and sisters, shout out the Muntu family. Brother Mabali and the entire Muntu family. Greetings and welcome. Mbote, brother Sheboy. How are you?
Mbote. Greetings to our people. Bibi Fahodie, yes, I'm okay. I'm very well, thank you. And it's a real pleasure to be here with you, brother Shakara. We are doing work. We're not sitting. We're just doing work because it is so important that the word is spread out. As Dr. Amos Wilson said, if you've got skills and you don't use it for the purpose of your people, it's good for nothing. So for those of us who speak more than one language, we make it available to our people through our translations.
Well, my brothers and sisters, not only is Brother Shaboy multilingual, he's one of the most hard-hitting translators I've ever come across. But the brother knows how to translate some words. You know what I mean? So we give thanks. And like I said, big up to the entire Muntu family. I was able to be with the Muntu family in March over there for the African Spirituality Fair. And so it was a beautiful occasion. We give thanks for all the works that the Muntu family is doing. And if you are not subscribed to Brother Mbali Makasi's channel, please, we encourage you to subscribe to Brother Mbali's channel. Even if you don't speak French, just tune in and support the work, brothers and sisters. All right? Okay, brothers and sisters. And now we're going to bring to you the international organizer, coordinator of the Urgences Panafricanistes, Pan-African Emergencies, NGO, a brother who has been organizing with our brother Kemi Seba for over 20 years, brothers and sisters. If you have seen Brother Kemi Seba anywhere in the world, you will have seen this brother right by his side and sometimes in front of him, giving you instructions about how things are supposed to go. And all of these things, kings and queens, make sure you understand that behind every powerful leader in our global African community, there must be organization. And our brother is a dedicated organizer. And so it is our pleasure to bring to you for the first time live on Kimbunga Media, our brother Hery Djehuty. Hotep, brother Hery. Brother Hery, are you with us?
Je ne vous entends pas. Hein? Je n'ai pas de son.
He says that he cannot hear us. He doesn't have any sound coming through.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't know what's happened there.
Frère Hery, est-ce que tu m'entends?
Est-ce que vous m'entendez?
On t'entend. Mais est-ce que toi tu nous entends? I think he's not getting the sound, brother Shakara.
Not getting any sound. Okay, he may have to go out and come back because I haven't. 1 second. I wonder if you consider, brothers and sisters, these things happen sometimes. We were live, we were backstage a minute ago, and everything was fine. And now our brother can't hear, so maybe he needs to reboot devices. Hold on, let me see if I can send him a message. All right.
J'ai dû sortir. Il m'a dit que tu peux sortir et revenir.
Yeah. Okay, 1 second.
Je ne voyais plus qui me...
Hold on. All right, I'm gonna try and send our brother a message, brothers and sisters. Yeah. So do bear with me. Let us try to sort this out, and we will be back with you in as soon as we can be back with. Okay. It looks like he might have done what I'm trying to get him to do. Hold on. Let's see. Ah, there we go. I think he's doing it now. Yeah. So, Lord of mercy. 1 second.
Allô?
Right. Can you hear us now?
Oui, c'est bon.
Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Everything is good.
All right. Okay, beautiful. All right, greetings. Hotep, Brother Hery.
Hotep,
So for
my bro,
those,
how are you?
I'm very well, my brother, and eternally thankful for you availing yourself and your time to be with us today to help break down what is happening in Azania, South Africa. Brother Sheboy, please translate.
Alors, éternelle gratitude, frère Hery, pour le fait que tu as une générosité qui se transmet par le temps que tu nous accordes ce soir. Alors, tu es en ce moment à Azania, en Afrique du Sud. Il te donne les salutations. Il te demande comment tu vas.
Seeing as it's your first time on Kimbunga Media, could you just introduce yourself to the audience?
Et par la même occasion, puisque c'est la première fois que tu es sur cette plateforme Kimbunga Media, est-ce qu'il y a moyen que tu puisses te présenter à la population qui nous suit?
Pour commencer, salutations aux frères et aux sœurs qui suivent ce live.
So first of all, greetings to all the brothers and sisters who are following this broadcast tonight.
Je vous ai entendu parler de grand honneur. Bon, moi, je ne suis que le serviteur d'une organisation et d'une cause.
So I've heard you during the introduction talking about the great honor, but I'm very humble and I would like to say that I am just a servant of the cause.
L'organisation Urgences Panafricanistes qui est présidée et fondée par Kemi Seba.
I am so a servant of this organization, Urgences Panafricanistes, so Pan-African Emergency, an organization founded and led by the brother Kemi Seba.
Je suis Hery Djehuty, le coordinateur international de l'ONG.
So I am Hery Djehuty, I am the coordinator of this NGO.
Je suis présentement en Afrique du Sud depuis le 17 avril.
So I'm currently in South Africa since 17th of April of this year.
Suite à l'arrestation de notre président Kemi Seba et de son fils Khonsou Seba le 13 avril.
So following the arrest of Kemi Seba and his son Khonsou on the 13th of the same month, April.
Une affaire extrêmement qui paraît au premier abord compliquée, mais qui ne l'est pas tant que ça. Et ce qui complique cette affaire, c'est l'aspect politique de cette arrestation. Et ce sera un plaisir pour moi d'expliquer à vos auditeurs et spectateurs finalement les tenants et les aboutissants de cette affaire.
So at first, when this arrest took place, it seemed very, very complicated or complex. But as it goes through, it is not as complicated as it seems. It's simply a political. There's a political dimension to this situation. And then tonight, I'll be able to take the time to really explain the ins and outs of this current situation.
J'aurais souhaité m'exprimer en anglais. Excusez-moi, j'aurais souhaité m'exprimer en anglais, mais je pense que l'affaire est suffisamment délicate pour que, voilà, il faille que les choses soient dites de façon la plus précise et la plus chirurgicale. Et voilà pourquoi j'ai sollicité la présence du frère pour une traduction en anglais et qu'il ne puisse pas y avoir de malentendus lorsqu'il s'agira d'aborder un peu plus en profondeur cette affaire.
So I wish I was able to speak English. And but unfortunately, this subject is so delicate that it's got to be approached with a precision, just like a surgical doctor, which means that in that particular case, we conveyed someone to come and translate so that we can be sure that the work will be done with precision so that we can explain things without any ambiguity.
Absolutely. And once again, we thank our brother Sheboy for providing that service. It's just a part of the reality of being African in this dispensation of time. Sometimes we need translation. And we look forward to the day when we can translate from one African language to another African language. But for now, we'll make do with what we have to do, brothers and sisters. Right. So I think we should start at the beginning, Brother Hery, in terms of what has been happening. And what brought Brother Kemi and Brother Khonsou to South Africa in the first place, And what were the circumstances that led up to them being arrested?
Alors, il est important de commencer par le commencement pour un petit peu savoir comment les choses se sont déroulées. Est-ce qu'il y aurait moyen que tu puisses nous expliquer les raisons pour lesquelles, au départ, Kemi Seba et son fils Khonsou se trouvent en Afrique et quelles sont les circonstances qui ont mené justement à son arrestation?
D'accord. Bah, écoutez, ça faisait déjà plusieurs mois que Kemi Seba se trouvait avec son fils et que son fils l'accompagnait lors de ses différents déplacements. Et il s'est trouvé par là. Allez-y.
No, go ahead. Okay. So it just happens that Kemi Seba happened to be present already in South Africa for many, many months. And he was always with his child who was accompanying his dad. And then this is how things were starting.
Son fils qui était en formation politique, son fils qui l'assistait également dans la mise en place, le développement de son programme et de ses différents déplacements, se trouvait avec lui. Et je pense que vous avez suivi les différents événements. Kemi Seba, en tant que président de l'organisation Urgences Panafricanistes, mais surtout en tant que militant politique, depuis un certain moment était dans le viseur des autorités béninoises.
So, as I was saying earlier, Kemi Seba was in South Africa with his son, and we have to remember that his son was receiving a political training, and then as part of this, he was also assisting his dad in all the work that his dad, Kemi Seba, was doing. So I think in terms of the things that led to this particular situation, we have to keep in mind that Kemi Seba, to start with, he is the president of Urgences Panafricanistes, but he's also a political militant, and then this is how things are starting.
Je suis obligé de remonter un peu en arrière et de refaire un peu le parcours de Kemi Seba. Kemi Seba, c'est près de 27 ans d'activisme.
So it is very important for me to go back to the very beginning to explain how Kemi Seba started. We have to keep in mind that Kemi Seba has got a 27 years history of being a militant.
Un activisme qui a commencé en France en 1999 et on peut, on va dire, faire une première borne chronologique qui va de 1999 à 2011. 2011, c'est la date à laquelle il décide de quitter la France et de poursuivre son ambition panafricaniste en arrivant au Sénégal.
So Kemi Seba has got a chronological order where he started in 1989, and then we have to keep in mind that there are two dates that I can talk about: is the beginning in Paris in 1999, but also up to 2011. From 2011, he will leave France, and when he'll find himself in Senegal, where he'll continue his ambition in terms of militancy.
De 1999 à 2011, Kemi Seba se fait remarquer par un activisme qui a pour volonté de donner un espèce d'élan de solidarité à la communauté noire, de dénoncer la négrophobie qui pouvait sévir en France, parce que vous n'êtes pas sans savoir, et ça il faut que le public anglophone le comprenne, on peut de l'extérieur avoir une image positive des Noirs en disant qu'en France, parce qu'on les voit dans la musique ou dans le sport, ils ont une situation qui serait plutôt, on va dire, envieuse, mais la réalité est tout autre. Et donc c'est parce que Kemi Seba dénonçait la négrophobie et déjà la France-Afrique, donc ce système de prédation économique qui opérait, qu'il y a eu une multiplication des procès politiques et notamment une arrestation en 2007. Et donc la persécution politique de Kemi Seba a commencé à partir de 2005-2006 et 2011, lorsqu'il décide de quitter la France pour aller au Sénégal, il ouvre un nouveau chapitre de son activisme.
It is important to remember that, so as I was saying earlier, Kemi Seba started his activism, and then one thing very, very early, he was really showing to the public the negrophobia that was present in France, because most of us, we will look at France from the outside and we will see that Black people are represented in sports, in music, and people will kind of feel envious of this current situation. But Kemi understood very clearly what was underneath it, and then he was just attacking the negrophobia that is present in France. So just showing to the people that what you see is not the reality. So Kemi was very clean on this. And then from that point, Kemi became a person who was persecuted because of his stance that he was taking. So from 2007 up to that point, he was always actively being persecuted. He gave the dates of 2005 and 2006, but really everything culminated in 2011 when Kemi Seba opened this new chapter by going to Senegal.
En arrivant au Sénégal en 2011, on peut faire une deuxième séquence chronologique, on va dire de 2011 à 2017. De 2011 à 2015, Kemi Seba travaille en tant que chroniqueur dans une chaîne sénégalaise à la 2S TV et il déconstruit, entre guillemets, les réseaux de domination impérialiste. Et sa grande ingéniosité, ça a été de prendre ses chroniques à la télévision et de le mettre sur Internet. Et c'est comme ça que petit à petit, il est parvenu à édifier les consciences, à les sensibiliser sur des problématiques anti-colonialistes, sur la question du franc CFA, sur la question des bases militaires. Et en 2015, c'est la création de l'ONG Urgences Panafricanistes. Cette création, finalement, elle répondait aux besoins du public.
I think Brother Djehuty got dropped, but I'm going to take this advantage to say what he was saying. So basically, from the first step that he mentioned, we're going to be opening a new chapter for Kemi Seba, who was at that time in Senegal between 2011 and 2015. It is at that time that he was a TV presenter for a Senegalese television, and he would, in that particular segment when he was on the TV, he will break down specifically imperialism so that he will make it understood and understandable from the everyday people who were not aware of what imperialism was. And one key point that Kemi Seba will do, he will get those times on television and break small segments of what he was saying on TV and put it on the internet. And then from there, he was able to raise awareness about anti-colonialism. He was going to be able to raise awareness of the franc CFA. He was also going to be able to talk negatively about the military bases present in Africa. And it's in that time in 2015 that he will create Urgences Panafricanistes. And at that point, Brother Hery dropped.
Okay, so we're waiting for our brother Hery to return. Once I see him, I will bring him forward. But once again, thank you, Brother Shaboy. And the interesting thing about where our brother took us to, this is that period in which I became aware of our brother Kemi Seba. He actually came to the UK sometime between 2017 and 2018. And I went to that event, which was at a university in East London. And he spoke entirely in French, but thankfully, I had my sister Francine McQuire next to me to translate all that the brother was saying. But even though one didn't understand linguistically, one could understand spiritually that the brother was serious, that the brother was real. And so that's why we are here, brothers and sisters, to help and support our brother. Go ahead, Brother Shaboy.
Yes, let me just add one thing. Although Brother Hery mentioned about 2011, 2015, one key point that he didn't mention, or maybe he was going to mention it later on, is that in 2012, Kemi Seba founded a radio station. You founded a radio station which was called Afrikan Radio, which was internet-based. And that's the very same radio where I was part of that radio station. I was also one of the journalists, and I was running a program every Monday. And then we did it for a year. And it's at that time that Kemi was under house arrest, and the radio station was closed down under Nicolas Sarkozy's orders, who was one of the former presidents at that time. But Hery didn't mention that.
Absolutely. I'm sure he might have, you know what I'm saying? And interestingly, brothers and sisters, you should know that our brother Kemi, based upon what has been shared, is very well known in Senegal. Yes. And so many of the people who are in Senegal who are doing good and not so good at the moment, our brother is very well known to them. But that's another subject for another time. Brother Heru, you dropped off at the point where you were discussing Brother Kemi and the TV show in Senegal and the establishment of Urgences Panafricanistes. Feel free to continue from there.
Ok. Ce qui est très important, c'est que là où les autorités françaises se disaient « Ah, Kemi Seba a quitté la France, on va pouvoir être tranquille », il arrive à se réinventer en arrivant en Afrique et il arrive à avoir cette fois-ci une dimension mainstream malgré l'ascension médiatique grâce à cette émission télévisée de débat au Sénégal, mais également grâce à sa capacité à transmettre ces informations sur sa page Facebook et dans le même temps en faisant ces conférences dans différentes universités, dans différents endroits. Et c'est comme ça que finalement, la mayonnaise est en train de prendre et le problème Kemi Seba est en train de gagner en ampleur pour tous les réseaux impérialistes et néocolons.
So it's very important to mention this. When Kemi left France, the French government thought, oh, this is perfect because now we're going to be in peace because it's going to be more quiet since Kemi left. But they didn't realize that Kemi, by going to Senegal, was able to reinvent himself and to gain strength, and which means that Kemi left his activism in France to become now mainstream through that particular TV program that he was having every time on air, and also because of the ability that Kemi was able to teach, because when he was in Senegal, he would teach through his Facebook page, but he would also teach through the various conferences that he was doing throughout the entire country. So he just made it in that way, so much so that in the end, the sauce kind of cooked, because now he was gaining strength and he was able to denounce all the negativities about neocolonialism.
Et à ce moment-là, il faut être pragmatique et il faut se dire finalement, qu'est-ce que maintenant je peux proposer au public en dehors des vidéos ou des conférences que je fais où j'arrive à déconstruire, entre guillemets, la thématique, la problématique du néocolonialisme. Qu'est-ce que je peux apporter au public? Et c'est là que lui vient l'idée de créer, fin 2015, début 2016, de fonder l'ONG Urgences Panafricanistes.
So with pragmatism, Kemi was able to question himself, to ask question, okay, here I am offering videos and teaching and making conferences. That's fine. I'm able to break down all those very topics about colonialism and anti-imperialism. I'll break them down absolutely. But then what are people in need for? And it's that point that in 2015, 2016, that he had the idea of creating this NGO, Urgences Panafricanistes, Pan-African Emergency.
Cette organisation a deux axes, sensibilisation politique et action caritative et sociale.
So that NGO has two legs, if I can say so. There's the political drive that it's got, but also there's the other one is the social help that it's bringing.
La première action qui est mise en place, c'est celle finalement de protestation et de dénonciation de l'esclavage des Noirs en Mauritanie.
One of the first things was the protest against slavery. So in 2016 was the protest against slavery in Mauritania.
Et finalement, il y a eu la volonté de Kemi Seba de monter en régime en mettant en place fin 2016, début 2017, le lancement d'une campagne contre le franc CFA. Ce n'est pas Kemi Seba qui est l'inventeur ou qui a été le premier à critiquer le franc CFA. On a eu des intellectuels, des écrivains, des universitaires qui ont planché sur ces questions des décennies, 10 ans, 20 ans avant. Mais il a eu cette volonté de faire de cette question une question qui allait être reprise par les masses populaires.
So Another thing that is important here is around the end of 2016-2017, Kemi will be very, very active in this campaign against the CFA franc. We know that this is a topic that was already talked about 20 years earlier. We had many people who wrote about it, academicians, journalists, a lot of people talked about this, but Kemi just made it so clear that he was able to actively break it down so that the masses of the people could understand really what was going on in terms of monetary sovereignty.
Et donc, à partir de l'année 2017, on va avoir une série de mobilisations, de rassemblements qui vont être faits en différents points d'Afrique, même dans les Caraïbes ou dans la diaspora en Europe, où on va avoir des associations, des organisations de la société civile, des intellectuels, des politiques qui vont se rassembler, qui vont discuter de cette question citoyenne qu'est le franc CFA, avec en point d'orgue cette mobilisation au mois de juillet 2017, dans laquelle au Sénégal, Kemi Seba brûle symboliquement un billet de 5000 francs CFA qui entraînera son arrestation.
So around 2017, Kemi will be actively organizing the masses of our people. There'll be marches throughout Africa and in the Caribbean. People will be involved, NGOs, politicians, intellectuals, so bringing all the masses of the people to tell them or to really criticize the CFA franc. And around July 2017, Kemi Seba would symbolically burn a banknote, a 5,000 banknote from Senegal, and this is where he would be arrested.
Il se fait arrêter parce que la BCAO a porté plainte contre lui pour avoir brûlé le billet. Il y a un procès. La BCAO perd ce procès, donc c'est une victoire éclatante pour Kemi Seba et pour cette cause finalement qu'il promeut. Et quelques jours plus tard, Macky Sall, à l'époque qui était président de la République du Sénégal, dans un excès un peu de colère et dans une vexation, décide de procéder à l'expulsion de Kemi Seba du Sénégal.
So what is going to happen is that the Development Bank would be suing Kemi Seba because of him having burned that banknote. One key point is that Kemi Seba would win that battle because the bank would lose. But at that time, we have to remember that Macky Sall was president of Senegal, being humiliated, vexed. He would at that point expel Kemi Seba out of Senegal.
Et donc, en septembre 2017, il est expulsé du Sénégal vers la France et quelques jours plus tard, il arrive au Bénin. Ce qui est très intéressant à remarquer et à constater, c'est qu'il y a donc une double persécution à la fois de la France, mais également de nos gouvernants corrompus africains.
So September 2017, so Kemi would be finally expelled from Senegal to France, and then a few times later, he will find himself in Benin. Key point here to remember is that there's a double persecution. Kemi Seba, at the same time that he's persecuted in France or by the French government, is also persecuted by the corrupt governments in Africa.
Absolutely.
Et donc cette double persécution, elle va être on va dire comme un marqueur de son action politique et qui le poursuivra jusqu'à aujourd'hui. On ne peut pas comprendre le combat de Kemi Seba sans comprendre que finalement son action politique dérange à la fois nos gouvernants, nos présidents corrompus et qui sont dans la malgouvernance, mais également elle stigmatise, elle pointe un doigt accusateur vers les puissances, on va dire, impérialistes qu'on peut désigner, on va dire, sous le vocable dans le camp occidental.
So through that double persecution, we have to see that this is really marking the political action that Kemi Seba is having. It is really hard to understand that the action being taken will be disturbing because the various government, the various political people in Africa will be just in a serious situation where they are criticized. And then Kemi Seba just has one thing, that he's just attacking the imperialists.
Mm-hmm. Et donc, cette double diabolisation, à la fois des dirigeants occidentaux, mais également de nos dirigeants africains, qu'on appelle les dirigeants dirigés, nos larbins, qui sont majoritairement à la tête de nos États, vont lui apporter un crédit au niveau des populations, tant en Afrique qu'en Europe, dans l'Occident, où vous avez des gens qui finalement ne sont pas alignés, ne sont pas en accord avec la politique néocoloniale de leurs dirigeants.
So through that double diabolization of Kemi Seba, because you have to remember that Kemi Seba, at the same time that he will criticize the Westerners or the West, he would also criticize the puppet presidents who are, or the puppet governments who are in Africa. So with Kemi Seba criticizing the West, but also criticizing all those government in Africa, he'll have a good look from the people in Africa, but also good look from the people in Europe who are not aligned with the political situation of the West dominating Africa, and then this will really something that Kemi Seba will use to his advantage.
Alors, je vais accélérer un peu et on va dire qu'à partir de 2017 jusqu'à 2024, Kemi Seba continue ses mobilisations, continue ses déplacements en Afrique, comme en Amérique latine ou comme dans le Moyen-Orient, en faisant la promotion, on va dire, de diversification des partenariats pour les puissances africaines, en faisant pas l'apologie, mais en incitant les pays africains à être dans une collaboration sud-sud plus que et moins être dans la relation de dépendance vis-à-vis de l'Occident. Mais dans le même temps, au niveau du Bénin, il est en train de s'implanter, il est en train de prendre fait et cause par rapport à l'actualité de son pays d'origine, et les positions anti-néocoloniales qu'il a dérangent fortement le président qui est en place au Bénin, à savoir Patrice Talon depuis 2016, et c'est le début de la répression qui s'abat sur lui à partir du Bénin.
So between 2017 and 24, which is 7 years, Kemi Seba will continue his activism. He will travel immensely. He will travel through Africa. He will travel through the Middle East, just promoting partnerships, because Kemi Seba is a person who believes very much in the commerce between countries in the South, so South-South collaboration, and then asking all those countries in the South to collaborate rather than to be always dependent from the outside. And then at the same time, Kemi Seba will start to get involved more and more in the political life in Benin, criticizing or really being vocal about anti-colonialism. You have to remember that during that time, there's a president in Benin, Patrice Talon, who would now continue or start to really be against Kemi Seba.
Février 2024, la France est à bout de souffle. La France se fait dégager du Mali, du Burkina, du Niger. La France est en perte de vitesse. Et parce qu'elle est incapable de lutter sur le plan des idées, décide de procéder à la déchéance de nationalité de Kemi Seba.
So February 2024, France is losing ground because France, as you will see, will be kicked out of 3 countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. And then because France is losing, rather than fight for their ideas, they will continue persecuting Kemi Seba. And that's when they decided to remove his French nationality.
Dans la continuité de la déchéance de nationalité, et au moment où Kemi Seba décide de brûler son passeport de manière symbolique en expliquant qu'il y a une vie après le passeport français, Kemi Seba se rend à Niamey, donc au Niger, en mai 2024 pour une conférence de presse, puisque dans cette conférence de presse, vous avez les autorités du Niger qui décident de dévoiler un peu les manigances de l'armée française, en expliquant qu'il y a des instructeurs militaires français qui sont au nord du pays, au niveau donc du Bénin, et qui avaient pour projet, pour ambition de déstabiliser le pays. Ils seront sur place pour faire la conférence, pour dénoncer la présence militaire française dans son pays, une présence militaire française qui n'a fait l'objet d'aucun débat, d'aucune transparence, des troupes militaires qui sont présentes au Bénin dans la plus grande opacité, l'impossibilité pour les députés de questionner cette histoire, incapacité pour la société civile de pouvoir se rendre sur place, incapacité pour la presse d'investiguer dessus. Il y a une espèce de censure et Kemi Seba prend ses responsabilités, se rend à Niamey et dénonce cette présence militaire française dans son pays d'origine, ce qui provoque la colère et le courroux des autorités béninoises qui décident d'en finir définitivement avec lui en mettant en place une espèce de chasse à l'homme à son égard.
So what we have to keep in mind is that Kemi Seba will continue his activity. So you remember that he's being expelled from, so basically they remove his nationality. And as a result, Kemi would symbolically burn his French passport, saying that after the French passport, there's life that continues. Kemi Seba will go to Niger. He'll go to Niamey in May 2024. And then over there, he will be continuing to be active. He'll do a press conference. And in that particular press conference, he would explain that there's the French military presence in the north of the country, and this is destabilizing the country. He will talk about the fact that there's a military presence of the French military in his country of origin, Benin. And in this situation, the politicians, the journalists, the press would not be able to investigate and find out why, because there's a blackout on that particular situation. There's a censorship so that people cannot talk about that particular subject. And then because of all those actions, because of this provocation, so the country or the government will continue to be against Kemi Seba and show their anger towards him.
Yes, sir.
My brother, de 2024. De 2024, j'en aurais fini pour l'introduction, parce que cette introduction va permettre de comprendre pourquoi Kemi Seba se trouvait en Afrique du Sud. De 2024 jusqu'au mois de décembre 2025, donc c'est le fameux coup d'État militaire béninois qui a échoué. Kemi Seba était déjà dans le viseur des autorités béninoises, et le coup d'État manqué a servi d'occasion, a été une opportunité pour le pouvoir béninois de criminaliser l'action politique de Kemi Seba en faisant un des instigateurs, un des responsables, chose qui est totalement fausse. La seule chose qu'il a fait, c'était de faire une vidéo dans laquelle il considérait ce coup d'État comme une sorte un peu de jour de libération, un jour de libération par rapport à toutes les personnes qui de 2016 jusqu'à 2026 ont été injustement emprisonnés, ont été torturés, ont été poussés à l'exil. Et une semaine après donc ce coup d'État manqué, il y a eu un mandat d'arrêt international qui a été lancé contre Kemi Seba, et donc qui l'empêchait de pouvoir se déplacer par les airs. Et c'est comme ça qu'il s'est retrouvé bloqué en Afrique du Sud, et qu'il a décidé, qu'il a tenté de vouloir quitter le territoire, et qui s'est fait arrêter ce fameux 13 avril.
So between 20, and because of this long introduction, I just want to make it clear that we're going to go very, very quickly. 2024 to December 2025, there was a missed military coup in Benin, and at that point, Kemi Seba was already in the line of fire, and we have to remember that Kemi Seba will post a particular video where he will just say that that particular day of that military coup was a day of liberation, because we have a situation where the country is run by Patrice Talon, and then Kemi Seba will be falsely, so basically during the time of 2016-2026, many people in his country will be falsely imprisoned, will be forced to exile, and then through that particular time, Kemi would be prevented from traveling by air, and as a result, he would find himself in South Africa, where he will be arrested on the 13th of April.
Right. Now, my brother, you mentioned the attempted coup in Benin. When that happened, there was a rumor, briefly, and it didn't seem to sustain itself, but there was a rumor for a while that our brother Kemi was being accused of helping to plan the coup. That was the first thing I heard, and then that seemed to have been taken back, and it was said that no, but he supported the coup. I don't know if you heard that particular rumor. Could you just clarify for our brothers and sisters whether or not our brother Kemi funded the coup or was involved with the coup in any way, shape, or form? Because this was actually being said in and around December when the coup actually happened. Please translate, brother Shaboy.
Oui, donc en fait, je ne sais pas si frère Hery, tu es au courant, il y avait au moment de ce coup d'État militaire manqué, une rumeur qui circulait dans la sphère. On disait, il y en avait qui disaient que Kemi était le planificateur de ce coup d'État. Certaines personnes disaient qu'il avait mis des fonds justement pour que ce coup d'État puisse avoir lieu. Et certaines personnes disaient même qu'il était impliqué dans ce coup d'État. Est-ce que tu peux démentir éventuellement ces différentes rumeurs?
Oui, bien sûr que je vais démentir toutes ces rumeurs. Ces rumeurs, finalement, elles font partie du narratif franco-béninois qui vise à criminaliser l'action politique de Kemi Seba, à lui enlever toute légitimité et à en faire l'instigateur du coup d'État, chose qui est absolument fausse.
So obviously, I'll be able to talk about these various rumors. These are just the narratives from France and Benin who were using that tactic just to criminalize Kemi Seba. But everything that is said about planning, being involved, or funding is absolutely false.
Kemi Seba n'a jamais été impliqué de près ou de loin dans la préparation de ce coup d'État. Il n'en est pas l'instigateur idéologique, il n'en est pas le financier. Donc, chaque fois que vous allez entendre ou que vous allez lire dans des médias que Kemi Seba serait responsable de ce qui s'est passé le 7 décembre, il faut absolument que vous vous disiez que tout cela est faux.
So Kemi Seba has never been implicated in any or involved in anything to do with that military coup because he was neither the funder, he was neither the planner, because every time, and I want to make clear that all the people following this interview today, every time you hear anything about Kemi being involved in the planning, in the funding or whatever of that military coup that took place on the 7th of December is absolutely false.
Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé le 7 décembre? Le 7 décembre, Kemi Seba a fait une vidéo dans laquelle, en voyant les événements en temps réel, il s'est félicité du coup d'État. Il ne s'est pas félicité dans une espèce d'incitation, d'apologie de la violence. Il n'a pas incité la population béninoise à sortir dans les rues et à tirer sur je ne sais quel membre du gouvernement ou je ne sais le bâtiment officiel. Il a exprimé finalement ce que de nombreux Béninois ressentaient à l'intérieur d'eux-mêmes, mais n'avaient pas forcément la possibilité ou la capacité de le faire. Il a exprimé une sorte un peu de soulagement, une sorte un peu de satisfaction en se disant que enfin, on en a fini avec l'ère Talon, on en a fini avec ce régime liberticide et on va pouvoir tourner une autre page et le Bénin va redevenir cet îlot de stabilité, ce pays qui respectait l'état de droit et qui faisait la fierté de tous les pays africains au début des années 90.
So the only thing that we have to keep in mind is that on the 7th of December, it's a coincidence that it is the day of the military coup, is the day that Kemi Seba released or posted that video. And in that video, he just posted in real time a video in which he was rejoicing for what has happened. But Kemi, in that video, never called people to go out and burn or to be violent or anything. He just expressed what he was feeling, but also what many people in his country were feeling, but couldn't have the strength or the opportunity to to say it openly, because this is just a people in a video where people wanted to show their relief and show their satisfaction. And then finally, it's a situation where the people were finding that with that military coup, they were able to have Benin, a country that was in the possibility of having a new start, so that it's a country that reflects stability, the rule of law, as the people of Benin were dreaming of. Brother Shakara, we cannot hear you. We cannot hear you, Brother Shakara. Can I be heard? Frère Hery, tu m'entends?
Oui, moi je t'entends.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Bon.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened there. All right, brothers and sisters, a few things, yeah. Thank you for that clarification, Brother Hery. Brothers and sisters, you're tuned in to Kimbunga Media. We are discussing the topic. We stand with Kemi Seba. You notice there is no oppression. We are not in any doubt about the integrity and the dedication of our brother, so we don't have to doubt whether he's wrong or right in this situation. We stand with our brother in relation to the persecution that he's experiencing at the hands of neo-colonial governments on the African continent. I just picked up an email that said that this stream is restricted from our Kimbunga Media email. So I've just put a couple messages in the chat to make sure that we're still streaming. As far as I can tell, we are still streaming and everybody can see and hear us clearly. But I ask brothers and sisters to be vigilant and let us know if there are any disruptions so that we can be aware as we go forward. Thanking you very, very much. And I'm recalling, Brother Hery, that you visited us in the UK in 2019. And I was blessed to host that event. And you left the UK and traveled to, was it Benin or Burkina Faso? I forget which one. I think it was Benin. No, it was one of the two. But the two of you were arrested soon after leaving the UK and visiting either Benin or Burkina Faso. I'm forgetting which one.
I think it was Benin. I think.
Yes, yeah. So Brother Kemi had spoken in front of an audience of about 1,000 or so people, and yourself, Brother Kemi, and another brother who was from Benin were arrested, and we were able to organize a petition from the UK for the release of our brother. Yeah, I just say that to say, brothers and sisters, that we've been supporting our brothers and sisters in Urgences Panafricanistes for some time now, and these are necessary acts when we face persecution at the hands of neo-colonial states. When there is a rise of revolutionary activism, there'll be a rise in the repression of the revolutionaries. And so we have to stand with our brothers and sisters. Brother Shaboy, please feel free to translate that.
Oui, donc je sais que tu as un petit peu compris, mais en fait, en gros, le frère Shakara explique que en 2019, tu avais visité le UK, vous étiez, toi et Kemi Seba, présents, et vous aviez parlé lors de votre présence ici, et juste après, il n'était pas sûr si
Burkina.
vous étiez... Burkina Faso, ok, voilà. Donc vous étiez au Burkina et juste après, vous aviez été arrêté, donc toi et Kemi, et que Shakara et son groupe, ils avaient fait une pétition justement pour qu'on vous libère, parce que il dit que eux, depuis le début, ils ont toujours été un soutien, ils vous ont soutenu et ils soutiennent l'urgence panafricaniste. Et il dit qu'il est important de savoir que à chaque fois qu'un révolutionnaire se lève, à chaque fois, la répression s'engage. Et donc, il voulait juste que je puisse traduire par rapport à ça.
D'accord.
Right, and that was before our brother Ibrahim Traoré rose to power in Burkina Faso. But there was already a strong movement in Burkina Faso, and Niger, and Benin and Congo, trying to alleviate and challenge the neo-colonial conditions of our people. And so our brother Hery has just broken down the track record of our brother Kemi Seba and Urgences Panafricanistes in challenging that neo-colonial order that still continues to repress our people and our liberation efforts. So my brother, we get to brother Kemi being in South Africa. As you said, he's there with his son, providing political education. And then we hear that our brother is arrested. What are the charges that were levied against Brother Kemi in South Africa as far as the South African authorities are concerned.
Donc, merci beaucoup pour la présentation du passé et du parcours de Kemi Seba. Nous t'en remercions. Et maintenant, nous nous retrouvons dans la situation où, et bien évidemment, Kemi Seba se retrouve en Afrique du Sud. Il est accompagné de son fils. Il y a une éducation politique qui est là en place. Et tout à coup, Kemi Seba est arrêté. Quelles sont les accusations qui sont portées contre notre ami Kemi Seba?
Alors, lorsque Kemi Seba décide de quitter l'Afrique du Sud, il décide de quitter le pays parce qu'il a reçu l'information que les autorités béninoises l'ont localisé, savent qu'il est en Afrique du Sud et s'apprêtent à l'arrêter. Il faut savoir que les Béninois se sont fait les spécialistes des arrestations des opposants, mais des arrestations totalement illégales. On peut même parler de kidnapping. Ils l'ont fait au Togo, ils l'ont fait à Abidjan. Et finalement, Kemi Seba, pour éviter que ce sort lui soit également réservé, avait anticipé un déplacement, s'était organisé pour quitter le territoire sud-africain et échapper à cette arrestation.
So Kemi Seba just finding himself in South Africa, took the decision to leave South Africa. Why he did that? Because Benin, or the government of Patrice Talon, is a government that is known for tracking down people that they don't like. And then Kemi Seba heard through the grapevines that the government of Benin knew his exact location, and then he anticipated that they were going to come and get him. And because also Benin is known for conducting illegal arrests for things that we can even qualify as kidnapping, they did it in Togo, they did it in Ivory Coast. So Kemi Seba, anticipating what might happen to him, decided that it was time for him to escape.
Et lorsque vous avez un mandat d'arrêt international sur votre tête, il est difficile de se déplacer par la voie légale. Il avait déjà dépassé sa durée légale de visa. Il avait un visa de 3 mois, mais qui n'était plus du coup en règle parce qu'il était resté sur le territoire sud-africain. Et il s'est organisé, il a mobilisé ses réseaux, ses contacts pour pouvoir quitter l'Afrique du Sud et rejoindre un pays de l'AES.
So it just happened that, as I was saying before, Kemi was under international arrest. He was banned from traveling through air. And as such, Kemi Seba, finding himself in South Africa, he had a 3-month visa which already expired, which means that knowing that he couldn't travel through air, he had to find other means for him to travel. And the intention for him was to go and join one of the 3 countries of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso.
Okay, all right. So that was the intention. Now, it is being reported, Brother Hery, that the authorities seem to believe that Brother Kemi was trying to get to Zimbabwe to get passage to Europe. Is there any truth to that particular claim?
On dit que Kemi Seba apparemment avait l'intention de s'échapper, de quitter l'Afrique du Sud pour regagner le Zimbabwe, et qu'à travers le Zimbabwe, il allait rejoindre un pays de l'Europe. Est-ce que tu peux confirmer ou infirmer?
À travers le Zimbabwe, il devait passer par l'Europe, qui devait être une étape avant de retourner dans un des pays de l'AES. C'était finalement le projet. Et ce qui est très intéressant, c'est que les médias mainstream ne retiennent pas l'étape finale. Les médias mainstream nous disent qu'ils voulaient passer par le Zimbabwe pour aller en Europe, comme si, en fait, Kemi Seba, dans une espèce d'élan de lâcheté, aurait voulu fuir le mandat international béninois pour se réfugier en Europe, ce qui est, bien entendu, totalement faux. Il devait passer par l'Europe, et de l'Europe, il devait retourner au niveau d'un des pays de l'AES. C'est bien ça qu'il faut comprendre. À aucun moment, Kemi Seba n'avait pour volonté de stationner ou de rester en Europe. Il a quitté l'Europe depuis 2011. L'Afrique, c'est son continent, c'est sa terre, c'est le lieu là où il fait son militantisme. Donc, l'Europe était une étape avant la destination finale dans un des pays de l'AES.
It's important that we keep in mind that Kemi Seba would have, because the media just say one part of the situation, but they don't give the complete picture. The complete picture is that, yes, indeed, Kemi was going to go through Zimbabwe, and from Zimbabwe go to Europe. But that was just a step in the process, because through that step of going from Zimbabwe to Europe, he was then going to go to the final point, which is one of the three countries that I mentioned earlier, which is either Mali, Niger, or Burkina Faso. Because this is, as I said earlier, was just a step, because Kemi never wanted to run away from his international arrest mandate. It's just that Kemi Seba, we have to remember, he left Europe in 2011, and then Kemi Seba is someone who's very actively fighting in Africa, because Africa is his motherland, and then Europe was just a step for the final stage, which was to go to one of those three countries in Africa.
Right. Understood, my brother. Thank you for that clarification. The next question then becomes, obviously, what is illegal about that? Wherever the final destination was, why was our brother and his son arrested for trying to travel to Zimbabwe, to Europe, and then to Niger, Burkina Faso, or Mali, wherever the case is? Why is that an arrestable offense?
Donc, pourquoi est-ce que la tactique utilisée par Kemi Seba est illégale? Parce que qu'est-ce qui est illégal dans l'activité de quitter le Zimbabwe, rejoindre l'Europe, et puis de l'Europe rejoindre un des pays de l'AES? Parce que je n'arrive pas à comprendre qu'est-ce qui est illégal, qu'est-ce qui fait que ce qu'il a fait, c'est quelque chose qui nécessite une arrestation.
L'infraction de Kemi Seba et de son fils Khonsou Seba, elle réside dans le fait qu'ils ont dépassé la durée légale d'établissement en Afrique du Sud. D'accord? Mais de manière générale, lorsque vous faites ce qu'on appelle un overstate, je ne sais pas si par exemple vous dépassez votre visa de 10 jours, chaque jour correspond au montant d'une amende. Donc, on fait 10, si, je ne sais pas, une journée, c'est $30 d'amende, vous faites 10 fois 30 et vous payez $300 d'amende, et on vous expulse dans le pays à partir duquel vous êtes venu. C'est ce qui, normalement, devait se faire en temps normal.
So, normally, when you find yourself in a situation where you overstay in a country, and then he says that, say, for example, for argument's sake, you have overstayed in a country for 10 days, and every day there's a fine attached to that overstay period. And then let's say, for argument's sake, that there's a $30 fine for every day that you overstay in a country. So if you overstay in that particular country for 10 days, 10 times 30 is $300 that you have to pay. So you will pay that fine. And then as a result, you will also be expelled to the country where you came from. That's the normal procedure.
Yes.
Là où l'affaire devient intéressante, c'est que finalement, on a un rapport de police et surtout le procureur qui, sur la base du rapport de police, nous explique que Kemi Seba ne doit pas être relâché ou expulsé, qu'il doit être gardé en prison en Afrique du Sud parce qu'il serait un dangereux individu qui préparerait des attaques terroristes.
So there would be a police report, and then the court will also be involved in this, where it just says that Kemi should not be expelled, but rather kept in prison or imprisoned because Kemi represents a form of dangerous. So he's a danger, and therefore he should be maintained behind bars.
Donc,
was brother Kemi? Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Donc, on a un Kemi Seba qui est connu pour être un activiste qui a toujours été dans la non-violence. On a un Kemi Seba qui a été décoré en avril 2025 d'un doctorat honoris causa à Kinshasa. On a un Kemi Seba qui est l'auteur de 5 livres sur, entre guillemets, la cause noire et qui a toujours développé ses idées de manière philosophique, qui, comme par magie, serait devenu un terroriste qui, tenez-vous bien, planifierait des attaques terroristes à la fois en Europe et en Grande-Bretagne. Je suis désolé pour chacun, vous avez échappé de peu à des attaques terroristes de Kemi Seba.
So Kemi Seba is a person who's known for non-violent activism. It's someone who received many, he was acclaimed internationally in 2015. He received a doctor honoris causa. He's someone who authored 5 books. He's someone who always used philosophy through debate. All of a sudden, Kemi Seba is presented as this terrorist who's planning some deadly activities. And then it is even said that he was going to conduct some terrorist activities in Great Britain. So Shakara, you're very lucky because you escaped some terrorist activities from Kemi Seba against Great Britain.
Maybe so. I should give facts twice, because if he was guilty of that, I may have been implicated by association.
Donc peut-être que justement, si il avait effectivement eu des attentats qu'il aurait menés en Grande-Bretagne, eh bien Shakara serait doublement impliqué parce que il est associé quelque part par rapport au soutien dans le passé à la cause de Kemi Seba.
Alors on en parle avec humour, mais c'est quand même extrêmement triste et extrêmement grave ce qui se passe. Vous avez 2 individus, donc Kemi Seba et son fils, qui sont retenus en détention sur la base d'accusations qui n'ont pas été le moindre du monde étayées. Donc vous avez un policier qui, dans son rapport de police, et je pense sur la base de déclarations mensongères qui viennent à la fois du camp béninois, mais à la fois du camp français, parce qu'il faut rappeler l'importance et le poids qu'a la France en Afrique du Sud. Donc, ce sont les réseaux français et à la fois béninois qui ont fait une sorte d'ingérence au niveau de la police béninoise par je ne sais quelle connexion et qui ont déversé tout un tas de mensonges présentant Kemi Seba comme un terroriste, quelqu'un qui planifierait des violences et qui donc justifierait sa détention au niveau de la prison de Pretoria en Afrique du Sud.
So I see us here, joking about the situation, but we have to remember that this is a very, very sad situation where 2 individuals, Kemi Seba and his son Khonsou, who find themselves under arrest with no proof. We just happen to have a police that is corrupt, and that police write a report. And we have to bear in mind that France is very, very powerful in South Africa, but also Benin, which means that we don't know in what capacity they were able to infiltrate South Africa in such a way that all the false narrative created by France and Benin is now present in South Africa. And then Kemi Seba, he's being arrested, but nothing that Kemi did justify the fact that he's under house arrest or behind bars in Pretoria.
Absolument.
Alors on est sur un média révolutionnaire, donc qui maîtrise un peu l'histoire de la lutte, et on est dans une répétition de ce qui s'est passé pour chacun de nos leaders. Nos leaders ont toujours été victimes de machinations, de cabales, d'assassinats, d'infiltration, et c'est exactement ce qui est en train de se produire pour Kemi Seba en 2026. Et ce qui est d'autant plus regrettable, c'est que on a un impérialiste, on a un État néocolonialiste, à savoir la France, qui sous-traite un projet lugubre à un pays africain, le Bénin.
So I'm glad to be here tonight in a revolutionary media, and then as I can see, history repeats itself because our leaders, our great revolutionaries, were victim of various things: machination, assassination. So we've got ourselves in a situation where we are experiencing imperialism, but also neocolonialism, and we've got now France, who's the puppeteer, and then making sure that the act is committed by a puppet in South Africa.
100%. And just to extend that, brothers and sisters, France is trying to extend their tentacles across the African continent. Be reminded of the fact that France, the president of France, was in Kenya but a couple of weeks ago. Be be reminded of the fact that the president of France made an open statement in January of this year that France is investing heavily in anti-revolutionary Pan-Africanist propaganda, brothers and sisters. Be reminded of these facts. So when we see an attack like this against Brother Kemi Seba, know that it is coordinated. Know that it is not an accident. Know that there are seriously powerful forces pulling the strings behind the scenes. And we're going to get into that just shortly. I just want to clarify a couple of the facts because these things are being reported and I want our brothers and sisters to have an understanding of exactly what is taking place. Another claim that is being made in the media is that there was some illegality in relation to Brother Kemi, Brother Khonsou, and a South African citizen who in the media that I've read has not been named, who was supposed to have been paid some hundreds of thousands of rand for the purpose of trafficking Brother Kemi and Brother Khonsou to Zimbabwe and then on to Europe. Please clarify what the truth is in that claim, because that is also being reported in the media.
So let me just go back to the thing because I have to translate for brother here. So frère Hery, il faut se rappeler que la France a des tentacules qui vont au-delà de la France. Nous avons Macron, le président, qui s'est rendu à Kenya et qui récemment en janvier justement avait fait une déclaration dans laquelle il disait la position de la France contre les révolutionnaires et que toutes les activités que la France mène sont des activités qui sont coordonnées et qu'il n'y a pas d'accident, il n'y a pas de surprise. Tout ce qui est fait, c'est que la France a des tentacules et elle les a tellement longues qu'elle peut de loin tirer sur les ficelles. Donc du coup, la question que j'aimerais te poser maintenant, c'est qu'il y a une autre rumeur qui circule qui dirait qu'il y a une certaine forme d'illégalité dans le sens où Kemi Seba et son fils Khonsou avaient quelqu'un qu'ils auraient payé pour en fait trafiquer et permettre le passage pour qu'ils se dirigent vers le Zimbabwe et continuent la suite de leur voyage.
Alors par rapport à pour répondre aux propos du frère relatif au Kenya, il faut savoir que les Français étant en perte d'influence dans la zone du Sahel et dans l'Afrique francophone de manière générale, essayent de déplacer leur centre de gravité néo-colonialiste dans la zone anglophone. Bon, ils sont très présents au Nigeria, au Kenya, ici en Afrique du Sud, donc ils essaient toujours de se renouveler et c'est la grande force de l'impérialisme, c'est d'être capable d'être dans la prospective, dans l'anticipation, dans le futur. Et il faut donc que les forces révolutionnaires anti-néocolonialistes qui sont les nôtres soyons capables d'être dans la même dynamique.
So going back to the point that you were saying about Kenya, we have to remember that France is losing ground in the Sahel region, losing ground in the French-speaking Africa, and then we have to keep in mind that France, for that reason, wants to position itself so that it can anticipate the future where people are actively against liberation. So France is fighting nail and teeth to be present in Kenya and to be present in South Africa.
Par rapport à la deuxième partie de cette histoire, de cette affaire de viol de la loi sur l'immigration, dans ce voyage qui était organisé, vous savez que les médias mainstream français et néocolonialistes nous font penser, nous font croire que Kemi Seba, de sa poche, aurait payé un passeur africanaire. Il faut comprendre que ce passeur africanaire n'était aucunement en contact avec Kemi Seba. Kemi Seba ne le connaît pas, ne lui a jamais parlé, et il y a même une opposition idéologique. Kemi Seba est un militant panafricaniste pour l'émancipation des Noirs. Il ne peut en aucun cas travailler avec un suprémaciste blanc africaneur en Afrique du Sud. C'est le contact qui devait organiser le déplacement, qui a géré la logistique, qui a géré le périple et qui a financé cette personne. Mais les médias français se sont bornés à faire croire, à prétendre que c'est Kemi Seba qui avait l'argent et qui a payé ce type pour donner l'impression qu'ils étaient en contact physique comme idéologique.
So we have the situation where Kemi Seba's trip was planned, and then the media want us to believe that Kemi was personally involved in paying somebody so that he can get the help to cross the border. But Kemi Seba never had any personal contact with anybody. Mm-hmm. We have to remember that Kemi Seba is a militant. Kemi Seba who's someone who stands for the freedom. Kemi Seba who is someone who stands for the fact that the Africans should be standing tall. So how can Kemi Seba, a militant, the way we know he is, was going to be able to be in contact with a white supremacist in South Africa? What happens is that there was a contact, and that contact was the person managing the whole situation. And that person was the one who was making things happen, but it's never been Kemi Seba directly being in contact with whichever supremacist who would help him to cross the border.
Quelle est la stratégie des médias impérialistes en disant cela? Créer une espèce de dissonance, d'incompréhension auprès des masses, que les masses africaines qui suivent Kemi Seba se disent non, on ne comprend pas. Kemi Seba dit défendre la conscience noire, dit défendre l'indépendance, l'émancipation du peuple noir, et il est en contact avec un Afrikaners. Si c'est l'Afrikaners qui a géré une partie du périple, c'est parce qu'on sait que ces derniers, au niveau de toutes les agences de sécurité, ont une certaine, je dirais pas expertise, mais une certaine emprise ici en Afrique du Sud, et qui sont liés, entre guillemets, à certains contacts russes que Kemi Seba avait pour organiser le déplacement. Mais il n'y a jamais eu de connexion idéologique. Et encore une fois, ce narratif et cette rumeur doit pousser les Africains à savoir lire entre les lignes et à ne pas tomber dans les pièges qui sont créés par les impérialistes pour isoler nos leaders. Nos leaders doivent être accompagnés, doivent être portés, doivent être soutenus par les masses africaines. Et s'il doit y avoir une colère, une incompréhension ou bien la volonté des Africains de se désolidariser d'un Kemi Seba, ils doivent le faire sur la base d'éléments vrais et non pas sur les fake news, les fausses rumeurs et les mensonges relayés par les médias mainstream français.
So the strategy here that is created is to create incomprehension, because Kemi Seba is someone who's always been known for Black consciousness, is someone who's known for speaking about independence. We have to remember that if there was someone who was a supremacist who was involved in that particular situation, we have to keep in mind that every security agencies in South Africa would be people who will be dealing with that kind of situation, because what happened is that Kemi had some connections with Russia, and then it was through those connections that he was going to be able to travel, but Kemi had no connection with any supremacists, because the rumor that is being created is to push Africans to distance themselves from the people who are, being active. It's a tactic to isolate the leaders, because those leaders have to be supported. Because I say one thing: if our people have to be angry, they have to be angry based on truth, based on facts, and not to be angry based on fake news.
Right. Absolutely. So there's a few things here, brothers and sisters, that we need to clarify. So the idea is that Brother Kemi is arrested due to this violation of his stay in South Africa. There's a talk of violation of not having the correct documents, and this idea of having this supposedly illegal relationship. And then on top of that, there is clarify this for us, Brother Hery. Did the government of Benin initiate an extradition process with the government of South Africa for Brother Kemi?
Donc, on a la situation de l'arrestation de Kemi Seba et soi-disant qu'il y aurait violation par rapport à sa situation dans l'immigration. La question que j'aimerais te poser, c'est est-ce que le Bénin avait émis un désir justement d'extrader Kemi Seba vers le Bénin, son pays d'origine.
La demande d'extradition du Bénin a été validée, confirmée par Interpol ce vendredi 22 mai.
So Interpol validated that indeed Benin asked to have Kemi sent back to Benin. And this was confirmed on the 22nd of May.
Je vous ai répondu tout à l'heure en disant que dans une affaire d'overstate, généralement, la personne paye l'amende et est expulsée vers son pays d'origine, en tout cas vers le pays à partir duquel la personne est venue. Ça ne s'est pas fait. Kemi Seba est resté en détention depuis le 13 avril. On a eu près de 5 audiences. Chacune de ces 5 audiences ont toujours été reportées. Il y avait comme une espèce de volonté du parquet sud-africain d'allonger, de donner du temps. Et ce temps a permis au Bénin, curieusement, de pouvoir déposer lors de l'audience du vendredi 22 mai sa demande d'extradition. Il l'avait fait au départ, mais la forme n'était pas en accord avec le droit sud-africain. Elle ne respectait pas certaines règles, raison pour laquelle cette demande d'extradition avait été refusée.
So, as I was saying to you earlier, in a situation of overstaying in a particular country, you will be paying a fine, and then after that, you will be expelled to the country of your country of origin, or the country where you came from before arriving to the new place. We have to remember that the arrest of Kemi Seba on the 13th of April is absolutely critical, because Kemi Seba will appear 5 times in court, but every time that those court appearances will take place, they will be reported, which now give the time or lengthen the entire process. So we have the situation where Kemi Seba would finally have Benin sending that order to have him expelled, but initially it was not done through the correct format or form that was in agreement with what South Africa was looking for.
Now clarify this, my brother, because the president of Benin has changed. Yeah, it was Talon, and now it is Wadani. Is that his name? Right.
Wadani.
Right. So it would have been the new president that initiated the extradition process, correct?
Oui, est-ce que tu pourrais clarifier, parce que en attendant, il y a eu un changement à la tête du pays. On avait Patrice Talon au départ et maintenant on a Wadani. Est-ce que c'est le nouveau président qui justement devait émettre cet ordre d'extrader Kemi Seba?
En toute franchise, je n'ai pas d'éléments précis là-dessus, mais je ne pense pas que ce soit le nouveau président, parce que ce mandat d'arrêt, cette demande d'extradition est arrivée officiellement le 22 mai. Le président a été intronisé, si je ne dis pas de bêtises, le 24 mai, donc 2 jours après. Et il y avait déjà eu une première demande d'extradition qui était arrivée au début de l'affaire, au début de l'arrestation, je crois, à partir du 15 avril. Donc, il n'était pas encore en fonction. La deuxième chose, il faut savoir que le nouveau président Wadani, tout président qu'il est, n'est que l'homme de paille de Patrice Talon. Patrice Talon ne se retire pas de la vie politique béninoise. Patrice Talon est celui qui a il y a vraiment un problème de personne. Il fait du cas de Kemi Seba une affaire personnelle. Et Patrice Talon, il y a fort à penser que d'ici quelques jours, il sera intronisé comme le nouveau président du Sénat. Et le Sénat, lorsqu'on le décortique et qu'on l'étudie de près, a quasiment plus de pouvoir que le président de la République. Donc il sera toujours aux affaires, il sera toujours aux manettes, et il reste l'homme fort au Bénin.
So it's important to say that when the arrest took place, there was an order to expedite Kemi Seba back to Benin, and this was done on the 22nd of May. But the new president Wadani, took office on the 24th of May. That's when he became president, only 2 days later. So which means that we have to remember that the new president Wadani is a puppet of Patrice Talon, because Patrice Talon remains behind and he's the person acting. And then keep in mind also that Patrice Talon made it personal, his personal drive to really go after Kemi Seba. And then that former president, Patrice Talon, is now the new president of the Senate. And then I want to make people understand that in Benin, the president of the Senate has got more power than the reigning president, which means that the situation will keep on going against Kemi.
Okay. All right. I have two more questions. And then I want to close on dealing with the political implications of this, as well as how we can support our brothers, Kemi and Khonsou. Yeah. So two questions, and then the political implications of all of this and how we can support. The first question is, has Kemi Seba sought political asylum in South Africa, in Tanzania, South Africa?
Est-ce que, avant justement de continuer à parler de l'aspect politique et de la manière dont on peut soutenir l'action que tu mènes pour le soutien à Kemi Seba, est-ce que Kemi Seba a une demande d'asile qu'il aurait formulée, par exemple en Afrique du Sud?
Oui, il y a une demande qui a été déposée, une demande d'asile qui a été déposée à la cour de Pretoria, qui est en instruction.
Yes, I can confirm that an asylum, so Kemi is seeking asylum, and this was instructed in Pretoria, and then yes, indeed, Kemi Seba asked for asylum, yes.
Okay, so based upon what has been said so far, the only complicating factor in this seems to be the extradition request. The idea of overstaying and documentation shouldn't be too complicated for the court that would have Brother Kemi and Brother Khonsou in prison from April until now June. That doesn't seem to make any sense, right? So can we assume from this that the court proceedings are concerning extradition and or asylum? And if not, what is happening in the court? Can you explain to us what our brothers are experiencing as far as this court process is concerned, and is it at all necessary? And what are the lawyers advising?
Alors, nous savons que la demande d'extradition est quelque chose qui pourrait paraître comme quelque chose de assez simple, mais par contre, la situation du fait que Kemi serait resté beaucoup plus longtemps est quelque chose qui, ma foi, n'est pas très, très compliqué. Alors, la question que les gens peuvent se dire, c'est qu'on a deux choses ici sur la table. On a le fait d'extrader Kemi Seba ou le fait que, justement, Kemi va demander l'asile. Mais nous, ce qu'on aimerait savoir, c'est qu'est-ce que les avocats donnent comme conseil en ce moment? Aussi, comment est-ce que vous vivez la situation des passages au tribunal? Comment est-ce que les choses se déroulent? Qu'est-ce que vous pouvez en dire?
Alors, les passages au tribunal ont été extrêmement frustrants parce qu'ils ne nous ont aucunement donné la possibilité de pouvoir défendre notre vision, notre cause, le bon droit, finalement, de Kemi. Et on a senti une instrumentalisation du parquet sud-africain. On a pu ressentir finalement une volonté farouche du procureur d'éviter la possibilité pour Kemi de s'exprimer, de déconstruire tous ces mensonges. On a senti de la part du parquet la volonté de gagner du temps et de permettre ainsi aux autorités béninoises de pouvoir faire parvenir à la cour de Pretoria la demande d'extradition. La demande d'extradition béninoise ouvre une nouvelle séquence judiciaire, puisque là, on n'est plus uniquement dans le traitement de l'overstate, mais on est dans le traitement de la demande d'extradition qui empêche à Kemi Seba toute possibilité de bénéficier d'une libération sous caution et qui va donc le maintenir en détention jusqu'au 14 juillet. Qui sera le début, le lancement de la procédure d'extradition.
So we have been experiencing frustration during this time. The various court appearances, we can see clearly that there's no way, there's no room given for Kemi to be able to defend himself. We can see that even the prosecutor make sure that they don't give enough room or enough space for us to be able to do a good fight. So yes, we have the situation of the overstaying, which also coincides with the situation of Kemi Seba asking for asylum. One thing that we have to remember is that in this entire situation, Kemi Seba is now seeing himself being forced to stay in South Africa up until the 14th of July.
Okay. So when you say that, does that mean that he will be leaving on that date or not?
Lorsque tu parles de la date du 14 juillet, est-ce que ça veut dire que c'est le 14 juillet que Kemi sera envoyé au Bénin?
Non, jamais de la vie. Ça, c'est le vœu pieux des France-Africains et de tous ceux qui veulent la fin de sa carrière politique. Ça va être le début de l'instruction, mais ça va impliquer qu'il ne peut pas être libéré d'ici là et qu'il va être maintenu en détention. Et c'est la stratégie béninoise. La stratégie béninoise, c'est de maintenir le plus longtemps possible en détention Kemi Seba, de l'empêcher d'être dehors et d'assurer sa défense et de communiquer comme il sait si bien le faire.
Okay, obviously, there's no intention to see Kemi Seba out on the 14th of July because the thing is that Benin, in particular, is really interested in seeing Kemi's political activism dead. So there is no way for Kemi Seba to be able to free himself. The strategy here, and Brother Hery is very clear, the strategy is really here that Kemi Seba is maintained in captivity for as long as possible so that he cannot be able to use his political intelligence so that he can defend himself and mobilize the people.
Il faut bien que chacun ait à l'esprit que la procédure d'extradition peut être une procédure qui dure longtemps, qui prennent du temps, et le risque, c'est que Kemi Seba puisse être maintenu en détention pendant tout le long de la procédure. Donc, le 14 juillet marque le déclenchement de la procédure, d'accord? Le juge va expliquer à Kemi Seba les charges qui lui sont reprochées. Le Bénin va devoir, dans un rapport, notifier de manière explicite ce qu'il reproche à Kemi Seba. Il y a 2 charges dans le document d'Interpol qui est en possession de nos avocats. On reproche à Kemi Seba d'avoir fait l'apologie donc, du coup d'État du 7 décembre et on l'accuse de blanchiment d'argent et de financement du terrorisme. et ce qui est très intéressant, c'est que les Béninois ont très bien compris que l'Afrique du Sud a un certain respect pour la liberté d'expression et pour la pluralité des opinions. Et donc, l'angle d'attaque qu'ils ont, c'est de monter des accusations à charge liées au terrorisme pour inciter le juge à accepter une éventuelle demande d'extradition en direction de Cotonou.
So we have to remember that extraditing someone can take a very, very, very long time. We have here in this particular situation the risk that Kemi will be detained and kept there for a very, very, very long time, keeping in mind that the 14th of July just marks the beginning of the procedure. So when the procedure will start, the judge will explain to Kemi Seba what are the charges against him. But at the same time, Benin will notify again the court what they are, the reason why they are trying to get Kemi extradited to Benin. But in that activity, Benin has got 2 charges. One, they are saying that Kemi is connected to the military coup on the 7th of December.
Yeah.
And then the second, they are accusing him of money laundering. So obviously, we know that all those false accusations are playing against him, because it'll be ideal for Benin to have Kemi Seba being sent to Cotonou, and that will be the end of him.
Okay, so we have gone through just doing the fact checking and ensuring that our viewing audience understands the specific details, especially in response to what has been reported in mainstream media. Now we have to deal with the political implications of this, and then we'll get on to the court case in terms of how we can assist our brothers and Urgences Panafricanistes in addressing this issue. And I'm going to make a statement, and I'm going to ask a question. Please translate, brother Shabbat.
Donc, merci de nous avoir dressé le portrait de toute cette situation, des implications politiques de part et d'autre. Et puis maintenant, je vais essayer de poser une question particulière.
I mentioned a while ago that in 2019, when our brothers visited us in the UK, they went back and we've confirmed that it was Burkina Faso, spoke before an audience and were arrested. Go ahead.
Donc, je rappelle ce que j'avais dit au départ, qu'en 2019, toi et Kemi étiez venus ici au UK, vous aviez parlé à la population, et puis vous vous êtes rendus au Burkina, et à ce moment-là, vous avez été arrêtés.
At that time, there was serious discussion in West Africa about the establishment of a new currency that was being referred to as the echo.
At that time, à ce moment-là, il y avait plusieurs discussions dans plusieurs sphères qui étaient centrées autour de la création d'une monnaie. Sorry, could you say that again?
L'écho.
The new currency called the echo.
Oui, donc la nouvelle monnaie qui s'appelle l'écho. Yes.
And the implication was that that currency, if it was established, would effectively neutralize and get rid of the CFA franc.
Et il semblait dans ces discussions que si jamais l'écho était donc rendu possible, eh ben, le franc CFA verrait sa fin.
It just so happened that the arrest of Brother Hery and Brother Kemi in Burkina Faso coincided with a visit of Emmanuel Macron, President of France, to Mali.
Et justement, votre arrestation à toi et Kemi, justement coïncidait avec la visite de Macron au Mali, à la même époque.
And Côte d'Ivoire, if I'm not mistaken.
Et la Côte d'Ivoire.
And the purpose of the visit was to get them to sign on the dotted line to evolve the CFA franc into a new arrangement with those nations, that if the ECHO was instituted, those nations at least will continue to tie their currency to France and the CFA franc.
Et il semblerait qu'à ce moment-là, la visite de Macron, c'était justement pour s'assurer que si jamais il y avait l'évolution vers l'éco, eh bien que les pays que j'ai cités au départ allaient justement s'allier par rapport à la politique française.
And it just so happens that the most powerful voice in French-speaking West Africa against the CFA franc happened to be in prison whilst that deal and those documents were being signed.
Et c'est curieux que la personne qui était la plus vocale justement contre le franc CFA, eh bien cette personne se trouvait derrière les barreaux au même moment où ce deal de la mort justement était en train d'être fait ou conclu.
Now France is trying to extend its tentacles into so-called English-speaking Africa.
Et de plus, la France est en train justement d'étendre ses tentacules dans l'Afrique anglophone.
And in William Ruto of Kenya, it has found a willing puppet.
Et dans la personne de William Ruto, justement, ils ont trouvé un pantin qui convient.
Since Britain left the EU, France is now the most powerful military power in the European Union.
Depuis la sortie de la Grande-Bretagne de l'Union européenne, eh bien la France se retrouve une des plus grandes puissances militaires.
Earlier this year, the EU signed a defense and security agreement with Ghana.
Il y a l'Union européenne qui a signé avec le Ghana un partenariat militaire.
And it just so happened that when our brother Kemi and brother Khonsou were arrested, it was around the same time that Emmanuel Macron flies to Kenya and signs a defense and security agreement on behalf of the European Union with the Kenyan government.
Et il se trouve qu'au moment où Emmanuel Macron voyage au Kenya et donc justement signe cet accord qu'il y a avec l'Union européenne, eh bien Kemi Seba et Khonsou, eux, sont dans des difficultés.
And let's not be under any illusions. These defense and security agreements will be used to target revolutionary voices and organizers on the African continent.
Et ces accords de coopération, justement, sont des accords qui sont là pour s'attaquer aux mouvements révolutionnaires qui sont en train d'émerger.
I say all of that to say that our brother Hery is correct, that this arrest is entirely political.
Et je confirme que ce que le frère Hery dit, c'est que cette arrestation est absolument non fondée.
And so we as a people need to be aware of the politics even more than the legality at this moment in time.
Et donc nous, justement, nous devons être au courant, ou en tout cas sensés politiquement, de l'illégalité de cette arrestation.
Brother Hery, feel free to add to that in terms of any political context that you feel our people need to be aware of.
Frère Hery, si tu veux rajouter quelque chose dans le contexte actuel, quelque chose qui pourrait encore rajouter plus de poids.
Ce que le frère Chaka vient d'expliquer, d'énumérer, ça rejoint ce que j'avais évoqué lorsque je parlais de prospective. Je pense que les peuples qui restent en position dominante, ce sont les peuples qui sont capables de se projeter dans le futur, ce sont les peuples qui sont capables d'anticiper les risques, et ce sont les peuples qui sont capables de réfléchir au maintien de leur hégémonie.
So, the countries that really are able to see themselves in the future, to project themselves, are the countries who normally are able to maintain their strength and the continued destruction of the people.
Vous avez tout un mouvement qui est multiforme et que je pourrais résumer de façon grossière, un mouvement anti-woke et un mouvement, on va dire, de maintien de la suprématie blanche qui est assez prégnant en Europe comme aux États-Unis.
So we've got various forms that we can talk about. We have the movement anti-woke. We have the movement of maintaining white supremacy. These are all various things that we can see throughout Europe and America.
Je rappelle que notre mouvement ne se revendique aucunement du wokisme, nous sommes sur une autre ligne. Mais ce qui est important de comprendre, c'est que les peuples dans cette compétition mondiale, les peuples qui vont survivre, ce sont les peuples qui auront pris conscience de la menace.
So I want to be clear that we at Urgences Panafricanistes, we are not attached or linked to wokeism, but I'll just say that the people who survive, who are the people who are able to see themselves and defend themselves.
L'arrestation de Kemi Seba ne concerne pas uniquement sa personne ou celle de son fils. C'est un symbole qu'on cherche à faire taire à travers son arrestation.
So the arrest of Kemi Seba and his son is not really to do with him being arrested. It's just a way to silence the struggle.
S'il n'y a pas de convergence entre la sphère francophone ou la sphère anglophone, si on continue à rester dans nos petits couloirs nationaux en parlant uniquement de ce qui... je suis gabonais, je ne parle uniquement que ce qui se passe au Gabon. Je suis ivoirien, je ne parle uniquement que de ce qui se passe en Côte d'Ivoire. Je suis kenyan, je ne parle uniquement que de ce qui se passe au Kenya. On ne va jamais y arriver face à l'impérialisme.
I want to say that if we continue to remain ourselves in those colonial borders that were set up against us, and then one will say that I'll only focus on what is happening in this colonial state called Gabon, or if I only see myself focusing on what is about Kenya, or I only see myself interested in what is happening in Ivory Coast, and we don't see beyond this, and we don't see the impact that those things are happening or having taking place, we won't be able to survive imperialism.
Les opposants politiques sont tous soumis à la même problématique.
So anybody who take political stance against the system,
vous avez une population majoritairement jeune qui veut pouvoir exprimer sa vision, qui veut pouvoir se positionner, qui veut pouvoir prendre les rênes et la marche de ces pays.
We've got a population which is usually very, very young. All they want to do is to rule, to be taking position in their countries.
Malheureusement, vous avez des cercles au pouvoir, vous avez des réseaux, vous avez un personnel politique qui, dans la majorité des pays africains, n'est pas en phase avec les nouvelles aspirations de l'Afrique éclairée qui souhaite s'émanciper.
So you happen to see circles, you happen to see networks, you happen to see politicians who are not open at all to this new image, to this new future that Africa or the African population is trying to present or to bring forward.
Et donc, dans ces pays, lorsque vous avez des aspirations pour arriver au pouvoir, lorsque vous voulez changer les choses, lorsque vous voulez retourner le système, vous êtes automatiquement criminalisé par celles et ceux qui sont au pouvoir et qui rendent des comptes à l'Occident.
So in these countries, when you offer change, when you bring a new breath of fresh air, those people who are in these networks, those people who are in these circles will automatically criminalize you as they are paid slaves who are responding to their masters in the West.
Et l'ostracisation de toutes les forces politiques qui veulent une nouvelle Afrique, une Afrique fière, digne et souveraine, se fait de manière insidieuse, se fait de façon très hypocrite. On procède à l'élimination politique de ces partis, de ces candidats, avec des codes électoraux qui ne sont pas inclusifs et avec des fausses simulacres électoraux.
So we have situations where every time that you've got forces that are trying to rise against this old system, they'll be ostracized. Brother Arias may be dropped. They'll be ostracized, and then we'll have a situation where those in power will hypocritically play dirty games. They will proceed to eliminate candidates. They'll be conducting fake elections, or if they do have elections, those elections will not be inclusive to all the various parties.
Absolutely. Brothers and sisters, you're tuned in to We Stand with Kemi Seba. We are speaking to Brother Hery, International Coordinator of Urgences Panafricanistes, the movement NGO, founded and headed by our good brother Kemi Seba. And he's just breaking down some of the political context of Brother Kemi's arrest in Azania, South Africa. Feel free to continue, Brother Hery.
Oui, je suis là, excusez-moi. C'est l'impérialisme qui a coupé la connexion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is imperialism that is cut this connection.
Ce que j'étais en train d'expliquer, c'est que l'Occident valide des fausses élections, des élections qui donnent l'impression d'inclure ou de respecter les règles de l'état de droit, mais qui en fait n'en sont pas. Et ça permet de donner une espèce de fausse légitimité à des dirigeants qui finalement vont continuer de rendre des comptes à l'Occident et non à leur population.
So we've got the West that is going to validate those fake elections that mimic the rule of law, meaning that you've got candidates who will campaign, and then when they campaign, there will be election, and then when there's election, they'll be voted. But these fake elections just give time to those people who are going to take power to just continue to serve their masters who are behind, pulling the strings.
Et c'est la raison pour laquelle que dans une large majorité de ces pays, vous avez des arrestations d'opposants qu'on va criminaliser. On va expliquer que leur action politique vise à créer de l'instabilité, vise à créer de la violence, vise à faire le jeu d'ingérence étrangère russe ou je ne sais quoi, parce que finalement, le but, ce n'est pas de pouvoir argumenter, ce n'est pas de débattre avec ce camp politique qui n'a pas la même vision du monde, et ça pourrait faire l'objet d'un débat équitable, mais on a la volonté de mettre ces gens à l'écart avec toujours la validation non seulement des dirigeants occidentaux, mais également des médias mainstream qui diabolisent nos leaders. Voilà pourquoi l'arrestation de Kemi Seba est le symptôme de quelque chose qui dépasse les frontières de l'Afrique du Sud ou bien du Bénin, parce qu'il est finalement la face la plus visible d'un phénomène qu'on observe dans une large majorité de nos pays.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So it is for this reason that those who are against this new rise that Africa is aspiring to, they will make sure that they will proceed by using their various tactics that are arrests, they will criminalize, they will accuse against instability, they will accuse the likes of Kemi Seba for being someone who's using violence. They'll ensure that there's no debate. And because of that particular reason, they will put those people on the side, which is the case of Kemi Seba. But the arrest of Kemi Seba, we have to be clear, is a symptom that is beyond Kemi Seba. It's something that is much bigger than this. The only thing that we have to see is that the Kemi just happened to be the visible sign or the visible point of what the majority of the people are thinking about.
Absolutely, my brother Hery. Thank you very much for that. And I know that a campaign has begun in terms of our brother's defense. So please let our people know about the defense campaign and how we can be involved in supporting Urgences Panafricanistes in defending our brother Kemi and his son. Let us not forget that our brother's son is also incarcerated with him. His 18-year-old son, yes, is behind bars in Azania, South Africa at this moment. In fact, before you answer the question about how we can involve ourselves in the campaign, please let us know how our brothers are. Yes, how are they faring behind bars? And we will also ask you, however they are faring mentally and spiritually and physically, to send them our love and our strength and our well wishes and good tidings.
Donc, avant justement de te poser la question sur comment sont les deux personnes concernées, à savoir Kemi et son fils, n'oublions pas que le fils de Kemi Seba, c'est un jeune homme de 18 ans. Donc vraiment, il faut savoir que nous voudrions savoir comment ils tiennent moralement, mentalement, dans quelles conditions ils sont détenus, parce que ça, c'est important de savoir. Et avant que tu répondes à cette question, le frère Chakara explique qu'il aimerait également savoir que vous êtes en train d'organiser une campagne et de quelle manière justement notre peuple ou la population qui suit ce programme ce soir pourrait soutenir la campagne et les différentes manières d'être en contact avec vous.
Depuis l'arrestation du frère Kemi Seba et de son fils le 13 avril, on a vu énormément de gens qui étaient inquiets, énormément de gens qui se sont manifestés pour apporter un soutien et qui nous ont demandé comment est-ce qu'ils pouvaient être utiles, comment est-ce qu'ils pouvaient aider Kemi Seba et son fils dans cette situation très compliquée. Il y a la mise en place d'un comité de soutien. Ce comité de soutien structure, unifie et organise le soutien à Kemi Seba à travers différents pôles. Il y a un pôle juridique, il y a un pôle de communication presse, il y a un pôle logistique, il y a un pôle financier. Donc, les gens qui souhaitent intégrer ce comité de soutien peuvent se rendre sur notre site internet ou également contacter la DRH de l'ONG à travers son compte Instagram.
Yes, so since the arrest on the 13th of April, we've seen a wave of people who were worried. People came forward asking how can they be involved, how can they help. We've got a support committee that has been set up. It's got various steps. We've got one aspect will deal with the law. We've got one aspect will deals with the logistics. We've also got one aspect that is dealing with the finance and raising funds. So we could check our website. We could check our Instagram where all the information necessary is communicated.
Il ne faut pas se mentir. Dans cette histoire, dans cette incarcération de Kemi Seba et de son fils, la deuxième affaire qui arrive à partir du 14 juillet est une affaire décisive. Je parle donc de la demande d'extradition vers le Bénin vers Cotonou adressée par les autorités béninoises.
I am not going to lie to you. This incarceration is a very critical thing. With in mind the date of the cutoff date of the 14th of July, which will mark a decisive moment because of the demand that Benin has expressed to extradite Kemi Seba to Cotonou in Benin.
Depuis 2016, donc l'accession au pouvoir de Patrice Talon, le Bénin est régulièrement brocardé par les organisations droits de l'homiste et tout le monde s'accorde à dire que c'est un des pays les plus liberticides et les plus soumis au colonialisme français d'Afrique de l'Ouest.
So since 2016, when Patrice Talon became president of Benin, many organizations, who are checking how countries are run, saying that Benin is a country that is historically always submitting to imperialism.
Si Kemi Seba est extradé vers le Bénin, il ne bénéficiera aucunement d'une défense équitable.
If, for whatever reason, Kemi happens to be extradited to Benin, he would not have any legal way for defending himself.
Et il encourra sûrement une peine de prison au minimum, à minima, d'une 20aine d'années, puisqu'on a vu depuis 2016 la majorité des véritables opposants qui ont été arrêtés injustement, qui n'ont pas pu bénéficier d'un véritable procès avec une véritable défense et qui ont constamment été incarcérés avec des très longues peines.
So if Kemi Seba happens to be extradited to Benin, the minimum that he might be getting is 20 years behind bars. Because you will see that in Benin, every time there is the opposition, people against or speaking out against the government, you will have leaders who will be falsely accused, falsely arrested, and in majority of the cases, they'll have no defense, and those people end up being incarcerated.
Yeah. Et donc j'ai commencé l'interview en faisant l'historique de Kemi Seba en France et de tous les problèmes qu'il a pu poser aux autorités françaises parce qu'il combattait le néocolonialisme français. les Français ont une opportunité historique d'en finir définitivement politiquement avec Kemi Seba en mettant tout leur poids pour que ce procès à Pretoria découle vers une extradition de Kemi Seba au Bénin. Et donc, il y a une répartition des rôles, et dire cela, ce n'est pas verser dans le complotisme, parce que je suis sur place, nous voyons les choses, je ne peux pas tout vous révéler, mais il y a une répartition des rôles entre la France et le Bénin.
Beautiful. So we have to keep in mind that when we started this program, I gave you a sort of a roadmap about how Kemi Seba started his career until he became the person that we know today. It is important for everybody to understand tonight that what is taking place in South Africa is very significant, because if for whatever reason Kemi find himself being extradited to Benin, it is simply his political end that we are going to be seeing, because that's the very reason why France is using all its power, all its might, all its strength, so that they can win this. Because I am here on the field, I am here with my boots on the ground, I can see things, but I cannot tell you everything that I see, but I can see that in this particular theater that we are watching, you've got two actors that are playing a game, or everybody's playing a role. There's the role that France is playing, but there's also the role that Benin is playing, and everything is taking place in South Africa.
Et donc, ce que l'on souhaite, c'est que l'histoire ne se répète pas. Et comme nous sommes une génération éveillée, comme nous sommes une génération qui sait tirer les enseignements de l'histoire, il faut qu'on soit capable de s'organiser à temps et de ne pas être des spectateurs passifs.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So it's important that we don't let history repeat itself. We are a generation with our eyes open. And for that very reason, we need to be able to organize ourselves, to mobilize, so that we can be successful in this particular struggle.
Et cette mobilisation, elle va principalement passer par une équipe d'avocats les plus compétents. Je ne peux pas trop rentrer dans les détails parce que ce serait donner des éléments de nos stratégies, et on sait que la partie béninoise est en train de suivre ce live, comme ils le font sur chacune de nos interventions. Mais on a besoin de l'accompagnement du plus grand nombre. On a besoin d'un appui, d'un soutien financier qui va nous permettre de constituer cette équipe de tueurs du barreau. On a déjà les contacts, on a déjà les gens. Il nous faut des avocats engagés politiquement, parce que c'est une bataille historique. Ça va être un combat juridique, certes, mais surtout un combat politique contre des réseaux, contre certaines personnes qui finalement refusent de voir l'Afrique libre, refusent de voir l'Afrique souveraine, et qui travaillent à l'extinction, à l'arrestation, à l'incarcération de nos voix les plus dignes, les plus courageuses. Et donc, on a besoin que chaque personne qui partage, entre guillemets, ses convictions, chacun des nôtres qui, là où il est, parce qu'il travaille, parce qu'il n'a pas forcément le courage que peut avoir un Kemi Seba, mais qui partage ses convictions, on vous demande de ne pas être des spectateurs, de ne pas être passifs, et de ne pas tout le temps vous gargariser de l'histoire, et de vous dire « Ah, moi, je lis tel livre, je lis telle lutte du passé ». On veut que vous soyez capable de comprendre que ce que vous avez lu dans le passé est en train de se jouer actuellement sous vos yeux. Et donc, il faut que vous vous engagiez au moins en apportant un soutien financier pour qu'on puisse gonfler l'équipe d'avocats qu'on est en train de constituer.
Absolutely. So what we are doing here is that we are building a team of lawyers, and lawyers who are the most competent. So I am not going to reveal too much here, because I know that a program as this one is a program that is followed by very important people in Benin, in France, and then because of that reason, I am not going to make the mistake of revealing our strategies. But I know that we need as much help as possible, so the masses of our people, if they could come and speak with one voice in this particular struggle that we are facing, it will be important. We are going to be needing funding, and because of those funds, we are going to be using them for our lawyers, not any type of lawyers, but lawyers who are particularly politically astute. And then because what is taking place here is that our struggle is a struggle that creates problems for the networks that want to maintain Africa under subjugation. We've got people who are against the sovereignty of Africa, because all those people just don't want to see an Africa that is free. So that's the reason why we really have to orchestrate ourselves and raise our voices, because everybody, I don't know, I'm hearing my echo for some reason. If everybody who share our views can be able to act, because we don't want our people to just sit as spectators. We really want them to be engaged. We want them to be committed, or at least financially, so that they can help us continue this campaign.
Et je vais répondre de manière un peu provocatrice à la question initiale sur le moral de Kemi Seba et de son fils. Bien sûr qu'ils vont bien, bien sûr que ce n'est pas simple, c'est difficile, mais je pense que la chose qui leur fera le plus plaisir, c'est d'avoir l'impression que derrière les gens s'engagent, et c'est d'ailleurs ce qui se passe, c'est d'ailleurs ce qu'ils observent, mais c'est de sentir que derrière il y a une dynamique, qu'il y a un mouvement qui se constitue, et que surtout que les Africains, à travers leur arrestation, prennent conscience des enjeux de cette affaire. Et je pense que la meilleure façon de leur rendre honneur, c'est que chacun puisse s'impliquer à sa façon et ne pas être en mode individualité passive, regardant les actions de l'ennemi. On ne peut pas en vouloir à l'ennemi. L'ennemi est là pour faire le mal, et il le fait très bien. En revanche, maintenant, les hommes de bien doivent s'engager, doivent agir, doivent proposer des choses, doivent accompagner financièrement. Et c'est de cette façon que le bien triomphera. Ne soyons pas indignés par le camp impérialiste, par le camp d'en face. Essayons de porter l'effort sur les nôtres, essayons de faire de la pédagogie, c'est ce que votre chaîne fait. Et donc, voilà, toutes les personnes qui veulent nous accompagner financièrement peuvent aller sur le site internet de l'ONG urpanaf.org. Ils peuvent également se rendre sur le compte Instagram de l'ONG Urgences Panafricanistes. Et puis, on va annoncer des choses dans les prochains jours qui permettront à chacun de trouver l'endroit précis pour nous accompagner financièrement ou bien s'engager au sein du comité de soutien.
So yes, you asked me that particular question initially, and I am going to give you an answer with regards to how Kemi and his son Khonsou are doing. I must say that they are well, but at the same time that they are well, I have to say it is not easy. It's not easy at all. But what will really be a significant action is that they see that people are committed. They don't just sit as spectators, but they see people who are committed, that they see that there's a movement that is in progress, because people really have to understand that it is not just some simple arrest. People have to be able to understand the complete picture of what is taking place here. So I'm asking that people do not sit still as spectators, and people have to put on the side their individualism, because the enemy is very organized and the enemy is doing what the enemy is doing. But what we need to do is that everywhere where there are people of goodwill, those people, we are calling them forward. We are asking them to support this struggle. So on the screen here, I can see the handle of the NGO. So if you can connect to that handle, this is where we are going to be making communications. This is where we're going to be making announcements so that people can follow us and then help us as much as possible, in particular financially, because we will need it. Brother, you muted. Brother, you muted.
Thank you, my brother. My apologies. I have shared the Instagram handle so that you can go, and in the links section, you will find the links to the Urgences Panafricanistes website. You will also find links to a PayPal. You will also find links to a WhatsApp group where I believe you can get updates on what is happening with Seba. Yeah. You will also find links to a petition. Yes. All of these links will be in the description to this video. All right, and in the comment section to this video as well. Yeah. And so we ask you, if you can donate to the PayPal, please do. That will go towards our brother's defense. If you can, well, all of us can sign the petition. It costs us nothing. Sign the petition, brothers and sisters. Yes. And also join the WhatsApp group and keep yourself up to date. Most of what's in there will be in French, I'm sure, but we have something called Translate on various different apps. So feel free to get in, copy, paste, and translate. And I will say to you, my brother, Hery, if you produce anything in English, we will share it. Yeah, whether that's visual, video, or whether it's a flyer or whatever it is. If you want us to share something for our people that is in English, we will share it. It is our duty, it is our responsibility. You understand? Whenever you want to come back to say something to our audience, just reach out. It's our duty. The airways are yours, my brother. Yes.
Thank you, my brother.
And we need to keep our people informed across the various different platforms, and we'll do that anyway. Wherever we get, we will share. But obviously, I know that it's easier to share. And if you have anything that is in French, but you want to give us permission to translate it, feel free to send it to me, and I will share it. I will translate it and share it with our brothers and sisters. It's very important. I want to emphasize the gravity of what our brother Hery has said. Yes, that at the very minimum, a 20-year prison sentence faces our brother Kemi Seba if he's extradited to Benin. And that is possibly the least, yes, of the concerns here. You understand? We have to know and understand history, that not only are these things possible, they will happen and they will do it, especially if we are not strong and organized as a people to combat what it is that they are doing. I don't have to know what exactly. Brother Hery said he won't break down exactly what's going to be planned. This is not something that we need to know. Urgences Panafricanistes is an organization that has a proven track record of serving our people internationally. And so when we send them money, when we send them our support, when we give them our strength, we must know that it is going to a positive and righteous cause based upon the track record that they have established for themselves, brothers and sisters. So don't ask no questions about whether, where it's going. We know, based upon the work of Urgences Panafricanistes, that it is going to a beautiful and a good and a powerful cause. And the freedom, the liberation of our brother, Kemi, and his son, Khonsou, is as worthy a cause as any, especially when we consider the stakes that are currently in play. So I urge everybody to support the campaign, and we will do our best, my brother Hery. I can assure you of that. Right, we've been on for a while now, so I do want to wrap up. Thank you for giving us so much of your time, brother Hery. I will hand over to you if you have any last closing words that you want to say to our brothers and sisters.
Bon, je vous remercie pour l'invitation. Je pense que je vais redire ce que j'ai dit il y a quelques minutes. Il y a une guerre qui est lancée contre le peuple noir, et c'est une guerre pluricentenaire. L'heure est grave. Donc on est à la fois dans une dynamique intéressante où on voit les consciences noires qui s'émancipent, où il y a une prise de conscience en différents endroits, et on peut être rassuré parce qu'on a l'impression qu'il y a une avancée, notamment avec les pays de l'AES. Il y a une avancée dans ce processus, et dans le même temps, on sent le camp d'en face qui se sent de plus en plus menacé. Et comme ils se sont de plus en plus menacés, il a encore plus la volonté de récupérer les nôtres et de nous remettre une sorte un peu d'esclavage ou de néocolonialisme qui ne dit pas son nom. Il faut qu'on soit éveillé. Allez-y.
Yeah, so I would like to thank you for this invitation. I have to remind people that there is war against Black people, and this is a war that has been raging for centuries. And then it is a very particular situation at the moment where we see that the consciousness of Black consciousness is on the rise, and which is a positive thing, especially with the likes of what is happening in the Sahel region. But at the same time that we're seeing the rise of African consciousness, at the same time we see the rise of imperialism, which finds itself under threat. And then because as they see this new consciousness rising, they are thinking about new ways of bringing us back into a new form of neocolonialism.
Mm-hmm.
Et donc, par rapport à cette volonté du camp d'en face de nous remettre, entre guillemets, sous domination, la seule façon la seule chose le seul chemin qui nous permettra d'être définitivement indépendants, c'est l'unité. Donc, c'est la capacité qu'on va avoir à échanger l'information, c'est la capacité qu'on va avoir à faire preuve d'empathie lorsqu'il va y avoir un des nôtres qui va être arrêté ou incarcéré, et quel que soit l'endroit où on se trouve. Et des médias comme le vôtre ont un rôle très important parce qu'ils ont un double rôle, celui de sensibilisation, donc d'éveil des consciences, mais également de partage de l'information pour que notre peuple soit au courant qu'il y a une guerre qui lui est faite. Et c'est au moment où il comprendra qu'il y a une guerre qui lui sera faite qu'il se mettra en ordre de marche pour se défendre et participer à sa libération.
So the only road to freedom, the way I see it, is our unity. So that through that unity, we'll be able to share information, but also show empathy if someone finds himself in difficulty, regardless of the country where that person is. If we show unity, meaning that we share information and we show that empathy, this is the only road for us to become free. And then a media like a Kimbunga media is a very important media, and then it's playing a massive, major role because it does two things. One, it raises awareness and consciousness. That's the first thing. And then the second thing, it shares information because once people understand that there is war that is waged against them, then they will understand the necessity for them to organize. So that's the only thing.
Absolutely. My brother Hery, thank you abundantly once again. We will do our best, my brother. We will do our best. And once again, please send our love to brother Kemi and brother Khonsou. And we look forward to seeing them both in the physical at some point, whether it's on these shores, but most desirably somewhere on the African continent, in Burkina Faso or Mali or Niger. Brothers and sisters, this has been Kimbunga Media. We stand with Kemi Seba. Please pay attention to the comment section and the description to the video, where we'll be sharing the links to all that has been shared today. Once again, as we close, we say Tenda Mwadi. We're thankful unto the Mother, Father, creative life force of the universe, Kudzai, Mudzimu Mukuru. We give praises unto our great ancestors. Abibi Tumi, Abibi Fahodie, African power and African liberation for all African people. We say free Kemi Seba, free Khonsou Seba, free our brothers in incarceration right now. Bon combat, bon combat, bon combat. Ashe, ashe,